And we're back with another devlog. It's another Saturday. I upload these on Saturday. It's a very bad start. Let's just get into it. I got off to a really good start this week working on the game. And then life happened and I got very busy. So I worked like 3 days almost. Well, not full time, but I worked quite a bit during the weekend. And then like Tuesday happened and I haven't done anything since. So I've had some productive days. I've done the same in 3 days that I've done in the last 2 weeks, roughly. So I'd still count that as being relatively good. So I've got a couple of things here. I modeled these RAM sticks, as you can see. Before they were literally just like a cube. Now they actually have some modeling to them, and the first RAM stick actually has some level on it as well. So we'll go over that in a second. I'll show you the new things that I've programmed in as well. One of them is a bit of a platforming, almost side-scrolling, but it's not forced perspective, so you can go through it whatever way you want. And then the other side has a maze on it, in which I'm just going to put some random collectibles and stuff like that, so people have an incentive to just walk around it a little bit. And it was very easily and quickly made. I'll get into that in a minute as well, if I don't forget. But more importantly is if we go to the particle systems, I have a new particle system made. And that is the dash particle system I've got right over here. Where is it? It's there. There we go. So let's put that up there. And this is what the dash particle system looks like. So before I had, and I still do in the hallway, platforming mechanics as they are right now. I'll probably replace it there too, and this is definitely going to go through a couple more iterations before it's actually finished. But before I had this like weird mid-air roll animation for the dash, we've changed that around a fair bit. Let's mute that in order to prevent echoing, where right now it looks a little more like that. And I've also changed around how it works mechanically. So once you dash, you can't change direction until the dash ends. Because before you would just like get launched into a direction, but you would still have control input. So you get launched into a direction, but if you tilt the stick ever so slightly in one other direction, it would feel like you have very, very little control. So I changed that, so right now you do not have any directional input after doing a dash, but you can cancel out of the dash with a double jump. The dash isn't too long, but you can cancel out of it with a air jump, or with the new thing, which is the stomping ability you have. So it's literally just a downwards dash that keeps going until you might be able to see a jump counter as well in the top left. We'll get into that in a moment. This one just keeps going until you hit the ground, at which point you can keep on moving. But with this one as well, and I'll show you real quick by getting up a little higher, with that one as well, you can cancel out of it with a dash. Or I think you can also cancel out of it with a jump. Let me check. I don't know for sure if you can. Because I, again, made this like a week ago. So we can dash, and then, yeah, with an air jump, you can also cancel out of that one. Very nice thing with that is that it just cancels all of your horizontal momentum and just yeets you down. Whereas a air jump doesn't really, like, it cancels out your horizontal momentum as well, and you get a little bit of wiggling room. So generally, this is going to be the preferred method for like precision platforming and that kind of stuff, as you can see right here. But this one you can only use once per jump session, right? So you need to hit the ground again in order for that to reset. This one you could theoretically keep using, right? That being said, you can only use the dash twice before it resets. I probably should add in a reset when you use the stomp as well, because that will also increase the skill ceiling a little bit, is what I imagine, right? Because right now, you can only, I'll just show you, right? You can do 1, 2, and then you need to hit the ground before you can do it again. I've actually not tried this yet, but can you do 3 in a row while just being on the ground the entire time. You definitely can. Okay, that's good. So what I'm thinking is that reset should probably also happen when you use the stomp, because it feels like you can probably make good use of that. And you're losing such elevation, even if you do it really quickly after each other, that there's not really a lot of room to abuse that, I assume. Maybe if you get really good and you play on a controller where the buttons are a little easier to hit in quick succession, you're able to maybe abuse that a little bit, but I kind of doubt that it'll be very abusable. And if it is, it's going to take a lot of skill. And honestly, if people put in enough time and effort to like get that skill to speedrun with that technique, I'm totally fine with it. So the next thing I did is I added a Mario-like triple jump. So if you jump and you jump again and you jump again, you will jump higher successfully each time. But it'll only work if you're also moving at least a certain speed in either the X or Y direction. So if we just like do it like that, you can see you can't really farm the triple jump. You actually need to be running at a decent speed. At about 1/4 of your maximum speed, you need to be running. So that is to make it not too overpowered, because otherwise you could just literally like stand here and do 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and you'd be up there. As it is, you can still do that, right? Because you could do 1 and 2, and as you can see, it's a lot more tricky, especially since I'm using the keyboard control. So you can do 1, you could do it here, right? 1, 2, double jump, wall jump, whatever. So there is a lot of movement tech that has been added, and I do think it makes the game feel a lot more satisfying. And of course, like the double and triple jump, it's kind of hard sometimes to notice, and maybe they need to be a little less high than they are right now, because they do give you a lot more height at the moment. Maybe they should be a little closer together. And they definitely need specific animations for those jumps, because right now it's just repeating the same jump animation, and that's not really helping things either. So yeah, you can definitely, with the current way it works, you can abuse it quite a bit, because this way you can just use these little slots over here to skip a lot of the platforming. But that's honestly kind of fine, as I said. And I'll talk about this more in a upcoming video, is as a level designer, especially, and I'm not like a great level designer, obviously, but especially for these more open levels and open worlds and stuff like that, you shouldn't be too fucking terrified of people sequence breaking your game. That's what you invite when you make a level open-ended, is people are going to find ways to sequence break it. And should you encourage that? To a certain extent, I actually think, yeah, you should encourage that and give people the tools to do so, because it's going to be relatively difficult to do so, and it feels fair to give the player that reward of being able to do that. But again, I'll be making a video about that hopefully soon. I'm very busy with work lately, so but I want to make a little bit more edited content again for this channel, on top of just doing these devlogs. Maybe eventually instead of doing these devlogs, I don't know yet for sure. That being said, let's go to the other side real quick, because this you platform up. I still need to install a couple of platforms to go across there. I'm using my hat to point, and one to go up and down there. So at the moment, this is just not possible to do. Well, it is possible to do with some very, very tricky movement. So on the other side, I made a maze. And as you can see, it's quite zoomed in compared to what we saw before. And also here, right, I could have placed an invisible wall had I wanted to prevent people from jumping around. But jumping around is actually, especially the higher up you are, comes with a bit of a risk built in, because, and some of these jumps are kind of tricky to deal with, because if you want to jump around, it's pretty easy, admittedly, but But if you fail, you fall all the fuck back down, and you have no idea where you're at anymore because it's a maze. This maze was just automatically generated with an add-on in Blender because I couldn't be fucked to make an entire maze myself. So this is a lot of content, very easily produced, and I fucking love it. So there will be some collectibles and some like other things just hidden inside this maze. It's really difficult to see the entire thing at once, which is actually very much on purpose, because that means that you're going to have to explore it. Either that, or if you make your way up to this stick over here, the second one, which you can't do yet legitimately, so that's why I'm doing it this way, you get a much better view of the maze. So you can go up here, see, oh, there's something I missed there, jump down, and still have to make your way over there, obviously, which if you are at least somewhat capable with the jumps. Let's say I want to go to like where the tip of my hat is right now, so that corner over there, right? First and foremost, you cannot make it there with those with those dashes, so you need to do it like this, which is kind of tricky at times. So that one doesn't really work, so we take this one, and as you can see, it kind of works, but it takes a little bit of finesse. So I don't mind that being a possibility. Let's see, I made the dash particles, I talked about the ram sticks that I modeled, the dash, the triple jump. That's everything I did this week. Again, I've done this within like 2 or 3 days, because I've been very busy with the work outside of that. But there is quite a lot of progress here, and I still need to do some like level elements on these other 3 ram sticks, so there's quite a lot to still be done, and I don't exactly know what I'm going to do for every single one of them. I'm going to be real with you, because this took a fucking mortal age to put together. This was done very quickly, but I'm not going to be just putting a maze on this every single side left. There's still 6 sides left, right? So I'm probably going to use one of these sides to just have a single platform with just one thing on it that's just very difficult to reach, that you have to jump from one to the other or something like that. It is my thinking. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to link these 2 together and link these 2 together. And maybe link these 2 together as well. But then they're all linked together again. So I don't know if I want to do that, because my initial thought was you're going to get on this, make your way to the top of this, get on this one, have to work your way down here again, work your way across, work your way to the top, get across again, and then here you get a reward at the very end. That might be a little over the top and too much. So what I'm thinking right now is make them sets, because usually your ram sticks come in sets anyway, right? Either in 2 or in 4s. Logistically speaking, well, not logistically, but like just like how motherboards work, it should be this one and this one that are linked, and then this one and this one, because it's 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 that go together usually. But for making a platforming level, that doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. So I'm probably just going to pair these together by making some platforms go across the top. You use this one to spot into the maze, so that works. Have a bit of a platforming challenge going all the way down here. And then maybe... I could do it in such a way where the one platform challenge goes from this one to this one. So these ones are still linked together in some way, because you have to make your way up to the top of this to get the platform there. Again, I'm probably going to make it at such a height that with a perfect triple jump and an air jump combination with a dash, you can probably make it onto it. Maybe add in a wall jump there as well to make it easier. Just to give the opportunity to like break the game a little bit, or sequence break a little bit, but not make it too easy to the point where everybody can just get up there the easy way. You're going to need to master the movement mechanics. You're going to need to give it a couple of attempts, probably. So that's the general idea right now. And once the RAM sticks are done, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish those all this week. But then I'm going to start with the CPU cooler, which is going to be a huge fucking tower which you platform up on. And then once you get to the top, you can jump down into the CPU level once it's unlocked. Which is a two-dimensional level that I've been working on. Not this week, though, because there's, again, everything that I have done. Talking a little bit very quickly about content going forward, because these devlog videos are very easy, very fun to create, and hopefully you guys are having fun watching it. But one of them actually got a fair bit of impressions a while ago, because it was on the suggested feed of a video that got a lot of views from like a very popular YouTuber apparently. And people clicked the hell off of it like within a couple of seconds of opening the video. So people are very much not expecting this type of content at all. So I'm probably going to do a little bit more edited, a little bit more polished content. I can't promise that I'll do it weekly. So it's not necessarily going to immediately replace this content. Maybe eventually it will if things run very well. I doubt that it will. But as of right now, I've got 2 ideas for videos. One is top 5 level design tips, which specifically goes into 3D platforming level design, things that I'm running into myself. But generally, there will be tips that work for level designing mostly any type of game. And another video which is 3 like mental tips, just like the way you think about it, the way you feel about doing things. I have a different name for it in the Google Doc where I'm writing the script. So those are 2 videos that I'm working on right now, which I'm going to publish probably instead of a devlog certain weeks. So if you see a top 5, top 3 tips type of deal, or a video that's not labeled as a devlog, there's not gonna be a devlog that week because that video will be there instead. And then every week that I don't have a video like that, there will be a devlog. That's how I'm gonna go with this content going forward. So it's been a bit of a shorter video, which I think is fine because usually they run much longer than is altogether necessary. So now that I've recorded this, I'm going to go back to work because I should be, and I'll see you all back next week. Maybe with one of those videos, maybe with another devlog. Who the fuck knows?